boost or something, but for me, a bonus is something you get for working above and beyond your regular job. So it's wording.
Yes.
And I'd rather have it in the budget every year to say yes in June and September, rather than having to say no in September.
And it will always be included in the budget, and the council has that determination if they include it or not.
But if it's included, then, and you have to say no, you're the Scrooge.
Well,
I think I'd rather say yes and be Santa Claus or other appropriate holiday people.
and I know Mr. Mendes can actually explain this better than I do, but this is actually a result of the legislation that the state passed a couple of years ago that bonuses to public employees. And even though this is only $100, it's considered a bonus, and we have to actually put this resolution in. And so I believe one of the, you can explain it, the reasons we did this was so that we didn't have to come back and do this every year. But you still have the ability through the budget process to do this or not to do it. So if you decide not to do it one year, due to whatever, then we wouldn't take it back.
Paul has done a good job explaining to you that the program that's put in place is, as Darren pointed out, related to the state legislation that was passed years. It requires a resolution that establishes the parameters of the bonus program. That's all this does. It still is going, every year, going to be dependent upon the city council budgeting the dollars for the program.
And will it be listed as such when we are discussing the budget?
Yes, just like we did.
So it would be clear
Yes.
to everyone at budget time what that particular amount of money is being used for.
Absolutely. And
Okay.
if you remember, Mr. Menzel always points that out in his budget presentations too.
So it's in this year's budget.
Correct, yes.
Maybe this it should be worded that we are funding the program.
So you actually did the funding at the time that you did the budget.
Right.
So you've already done that.
Okay.
But this is just something we have to call it what the state calls
Yes.
it because of the wisdom of Tallahassee.
Yes. Yes. To be in compliance.
Then I would move for adoption of item number 8.
So,
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Chair votes aye. Let's go on to now unfinished business. Item number 10, Mrs. Forth, you wish to make a presentation to the council. Please come forward. Identify yourself, name and address, please.
Charlene Harrison, 4939 West DeSoto. And before I get started, I have some DVDs. Let me explain. The ones I have in black are for each one of you on the council. They were taken back in 2001 when I had to come down to the council for probably one of the darkest days in this city's history. And that's what I'm here to talk about tonight. I thought that wouldn't have to be raised again. But I'm going to tell you the price that I paid, me and my family and some others, for people to come in here and have free speech and have a fair shot in this hall. And I'm going to tell you at the end what I'm going to ask for. I have a copy, Darren, for you, for the clerk. It's in the blue. The black ones are for you guys.
I guess I can do it for you.
that's all I have.
I'm late, so it doesn't disrupt you.
Mrs. Forth, other than the folders that are in there identical? All of them?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
They haven't been released to the public until tonight. They're sitting at quite a few attorneys across Florida. I had to go get those copies yesterday because I realized my original copy was sitting at Cheney Mason's office in Orlando.
Pictures, audio?
No, it's a DVD. My son, at 9 years old, took that video when I came into the hall, and I'm going to explain to you. I want this disclaimed tonight, and Darren knows I had to call. A lot of people will never know who I am in this hall. They've never met me before or heard of me. I've tried to lay low about this issue, and now I am very troubled with some things that have happened in this hall, and our citizens coming in here not having a fair shot. And I want it to stop. And the only way I know to stop it is to go very methodically, very quickly. And I'm going to tell you the price that I paid to open up this city and change it. It was a very dirty, corrupt city when I moved here in '91. My son was 4 years old. And I thought I'd hit the big time. I thought that I was going to Clermont and I would just garden in my beautiful yard, third-generation family home. How bad could this be? Little did I know I was as normal at home in my life as anybody in this hall. And only I can articulate this tonight, so it will make sense and maybe it will set into all of you. And you will go home. I could have brought this video in and I could have marched everybody on the video. I think 3 are only passed away on this infamous night, but I chose not to do that because this is serious to me, as serious as it's ever going to be. The first sign that I thought something was wrong here at the city council, we had to take our son, when you're in Cub Scouts and you have to go get that badge. These things that I'm going to tell you are going to go very quickly. And we're sitting there, and the city council just votes for everything. Everything's just a wash. Everybody votes the same way. No discussion, nothing. My husband and I look at each other and go, that's kind of odd. You know, don't know what to make of it. Didn't think anything, but thought, oh well, guess everybody just gets along here, everything's fine. When the meeting was over, and they were coming around, one of the councilmen walked by us and the city attorney, and they reeked of alcohol. And I'm thinking, well, maybe that's probably what went on here. This was pretty bizarre. And the city attorney even excused himself in the middle of the council, which you're not allowed to do, and the council has to stop. Everything just went on. So I'm thinking, this is kind of odd too, but okay. Each to his own, let it go, went home. The next trouble that I have, or that happened here, was we had our mayor and some of the council made a statement that only God and the governor would stop a marina. A lot of people know that that's here in this town, and some of them don't that are new. Well, you don't mess with the lake and you don't put marinas on there, we learn very quickly. And that opened up a door that it was a packed out council, and from there, something happened to me. I'm in meetings with people that don't want to have the marina. The Save Our Lakes was born. I'm a charter member of that, which is now shut down with Nancy Fullerton. And in that, somebody's discussing, I don't understand how this is happening. Our city manager doesn't live in the city. He's breaking the charter. They laid some papers and documents down on the charter. I didn't pay attention. My 9-year-old son picked it up, took it home. He starts reading it. He could read really good in first grade. And he says, Mom, I don't understand. He says, it says right here he has to live in the city. And I read some more stuff here, and it says that only the voters can vote to stop that. What are you going to do about it? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to do anything about it. Well, what has happened, I then sat for a while, and my son kept bothering and saying, but Mama, that's why we have rules, that's why we have laws, you